What is up, DTube? So today I want to talk a little bit about why HEX is better than Compound, and it's a token called Comp, and and you have this so-called DeFi hype now, and everyone is try to build different game theory systems where they try to see, okay, how can we make value with this so-called DeFi hype. So this token with a 2.5 million circulating supply pumped to at the moment $230, but that's not really that hard to pump if you only have 2.5 million coins. So what is Comp doing? And so the short name is Comp and the longer name is Compound, and I think they also call it like Compound Finance. So this like finance, using this word, it sounds like it's like, oh, we're doing something with authority that is maybe even better than HEX. But when you actually start to dive deep into it, you see that it's not, they don't have better game theory than HEX, and it's not a better project than HEX. So let's compare this a little bit. So there is this website, and the website is basically called app.compound.finance, and I'm going to show it. This is basically how it looks like. So basically what it is, it's basically this thing where you're using a bunch of tokens and you have to deposit coins and then you can borrow coins. But this is actually not, it's not better than HEX because, well, there are many reasons why. I mean, first you can see first you're using a bunch of coins. So for example, with HEX, you're only using HEX coin. With the smart contract, you're not using a bunch of other coins that kind of confuse people. So this basically, so it's like if you have an amazing system, you only need one token, right? You don't need hundreds of different coins and like just confusing the hell out of people. So why do they need to use a lot of coins? Because probably they have no idea what they're doing. So you have these, like, if you look at the API on different coins, so you have to like deposit a bunch of coins, and then you can see that the API is, okay, this one is 13%, this one's only 1%, 0% is like 2%, 3%, and not even 1%. And obviously this can also like change at any moment. While with the HEX, it's just a smart contract, you have a share price, you have longer stakes, longer pays better. You kind of know what the future outcome is going to be based on, like, it's more based on math. While here it's more like you have these variables that can like change quite rapid. So when you're using more coins, some coins may go away in the future, and you have so much complexity, more complexity here, where they're like overcomplicating things. So I mean, there's so many ways I can cover this video. So one big problem here with compound finance is, so how is it different compared to HEX in simple terms? Well, with HEX, it's just a contract that prints more value if you follow the network rules. But over here, it's more based on that people want to like borrow coins, and you have to deposit like random coins as well. And not just that, but you can also get liquidated here. So that means if you borrow and the price, if the price basically fluctuate a lot, either go up too much or go down, people can get liquidated and they can kind of get wrecked, which kind of makes it feel a little bit, I mean, it's not a good brand at all for like DeFi or like the crypto space. With HEX, the price can do whatever. You still have the coins, right? You can't get like liquidated wrecked because you still have your HEX, right? And you only have to follow the network rules. Okay, so when the stake ends, then you can end that stake. But here it's like this is based on a bunch of other weird stuff. So, oh, first I have to get these other weird coins, and then I have to put them in this little smart contract thing. And oh, I need to borrow also. Should I borrow coins? Okay, what should I borrow coins for? Should I borrow DAI to get something else? It's like they're trying to build these, like, they're trying to outsmart the HEX smart contract, I would say. And there is just like, why are they trying? You can try to make a couple of dollars here and there, and that's also what the margin trading guys are doing with Bitcoin, with BitMEX. They're trying to make a couple of dollars here and there, but why don't you fix the larger issues about what you really want to do? So Hex is more looking at it from like how can we actually build the best machine possible and not do all this like nonsense kind of nonsense DeFi where there's not that much margin in this, and you don't have like a good, you don't have any good like printing system and or like game theory system. It's just like, it's just weird, right? So there are many weird aspects. You have this in Maker as well, where the brand gets hurt. The brand is going to get hurt so much when the price do crazy things, and a lot of people get liquidated left and right. This is not good for the crypto space. Same as margin trading and Bitcoin and BitMEX, people getting wrecked left and right. This is actually not that good for the crypto space. And also have other things here. Okay, so you have them playing with all of these different coins. You have to supply coins, you have borrow coins, but there's no clarity. Like these APIs can change at any moment. And it to I mean, okay, so they're talking about like, oh, maybe you can get 10% gain in this coin, but why are they chasing like 10% API when if you would do a hex stake, let's just put in 1,000 hex, and let's say we would have a stake length of 3,600, or let's say 5 days. The API that you would get would be this high. Okay, I mean, isn't that way better? Yeah, this is way better, and you have a share price that always goes up, and you have a big payday. You don't have anything. You don't have these like multipliers in compound. You want multipliers, right? And you want smart game theory, and Hex has the best game theory now in crypto when it comes to rewarding holders. And if crypto is all about rewarding holders more and building positive game theory for that, we don't need all this like compound finance nonsense where you're involving so many other coins because you have no idea what you're doing. So you have a bunch of like, instead of just using one coin and build a proper game theory, so Hex used one coin and just made a good game theory system for that. While over here, you mix in so many coins and so much more complexity and so much more nonsense where, yeah, it's just not good, right? It's not a good system at all, and it kind of is low margin in the long run because, I mean, compared to Hex can always pay. Hex can always pay the holders, but here you have so many factors at play, and yeah, it is truly this like appeal to complexity. Like people believe like, oh, if we're using more coins, and if we have this, like you can borrow some coins and you can supply some coins, and yeah, we're using more coins, so we're kind of better. Like we really know what we're doing. No, they don't really know what they're doing at all, and Hex is just better, right? Same as with like Nexo and like Wirex and all these guys. Most of them have no idea what they're doing, and yeah, a lot of people like this thing of like, oh, I'm gonna borrow some things here. Oh, I'm gonna deposit my precious random wrecked coins here, and it's gonna work amazing. No, it's just not good. Like, okay, so you don't have a share price, you don't have game theory wise where if someone locks up the longer, they get paid more. So, I mean, the way HEX is doing it is trying to go for this like certificate of deposit of crypto kind of side, and it's just way better. It's way better than all of this like lending stupid stuff. They don't really know what you're doing. Like, so this compound finance thing, I don't think it's a good idea. I don't think it ever will work. And you have all these coins. I mean, this idea of the stable coin, right? Like, people are not in crypto for like a stable coin. People are not in crypto to earn 7% per year or 10% per year. They can already do that in traditional markets with way less risk. If you're only earning that in crypto and you're taking this massive risk, it's kind of dumb, right? Uh, because most people in crypto for mad gains, they're in it for mad gains and pumps. If you're only in crypto to earn 7% and you also take on this huge risk at the same time, for example, if you try to use some of these so-called stable coins like Tether and DAI, many of them are not fully trustless. Many of them may have like admin keys, and many of them are involving more like counterparty risks. There is just so many more attack vectors that you're involving with something like compound finance. And I don't even know if this has any audits. So we know that the HEX smart contract has around, I think, 3 audits. So people have actually looked at the code. And also what HEX has, it has like real humans with faces talking in videos. I don't really see that many smart people talking about compound finance on video. And it doesn't really seem to be something revolutionary. So for example, I see some guys on YouTube that is talking about this like compound finance, this comp token. They're talking about it. Those are the same guys that were kind of critical of HEX and thought it was nonsense. And those guys kind of missed out on the 116x pump in HEX. And that doesn't even include the multipliers that happens on the big payday. It doesn't even include the rise share price. And most of those guys that talk about comp now on YouTube videos, they have no idea about how HEX is working, and HEX has the biggest Telegram group, in all of crypto, and it's like real people. You can see on HEX vlogs, they're getting a lot of views. A lot of these guys, they're talking that have the status quo of Bitcoin and Ethereum, random coins, DAI, Augur. I mean, Augur is even a failed project. So a lot of these guys that talk about comp on YouTube, they don't have that good track record, and they're probably poor. So for example, when I'm on this app.compound website, I mean, it doesn't really look that good when it's say like, oh, API here 0%, 0 to 13%. This is not good branding. Or like 0% over here. Like, if you're not earning anything, like, why are you even like showcasing it? And the API here is like really bad. And if just one of these goes away, maybe one coin goes away in the future, then it's going to be even like worse. And these also, what's funny about these rates is they can change quite rapid. Like, if you get probably new people, so many more people involved, they're probably going to change quite rapid. While with HEX smart contract, if you stake longer, you know that you're gonna have a larger pie of the shares, and eventually you're gonna have a larger pie of the share pool compared to guys that get in later. So you kind of know that the share price is always going to go up. You also know that you have more shares, and if you do stake longer than the average, you know math wise that you're going to earn more than people, earn more in HEX than people that basically stake shorter. While here there's just so many weird factors at play. So other things here, they're saying things like, okay, so what is this? Like, okay, so this is what they're showing. So they're creating these random comp tokens, and then they allocate it to a bunch of coins that don't really get that much interest, and then they split this by the suppliers and the borrowers. But how many people want to be like suppliers or borrowers compared to when they can just stake HEX tokens, they get burned, and then they can just end the stake when it should be ending. I don't think that many people, like average people, want to be like suppliers and borrowers is in something that is like super risky. So they mentioned Tether, which probably has massive counterparty risk. Brave, the BAT token, which is only like an ERC20 coin, that's probably like super centralized. They have some weird stable coins up there at the top that has gone below their so-called stable price. Yeah, I don't think this is a good thing, and I don't see it kind of be able to reach any kind of mainstream kind of scale, because if just a few people get liquidated a lot, that's not good for the brand, right? The cool thing about HEX is if you use staking, even if the price goes down, you cannot get like liquidated. If you end stakes, yeah, you get penalized if you do it early or too late. But if you end it on time, you still get you get your HEX and you get your interest, because it's independent of the fiat value. So the fiat value can go up and down, but you still got your HEX, you still got your coins, right? But here it's like, yeah, you can kind of get liquidated, and we saw this with this maker thing, how it kind of dropped massively in value and a lot of people got liquidated. Not good for the brand, man. It's not good for the brand, and that can never scale to a lot of people, because you're taking on like massive risks for very low gain, right? If the HEX thing actually works amazing, yeah, people stake a long time, they're gonna get so many more HEX coins. Nobody knows what's gonna be in fiat value, but you kind of know that they're gonna get more HEX coins than people that are in it for a shorter time. So, so yeah, it's like, why? So we can make cryptocurrencies. So we can now make cryptocurrencies, and we only need interest and a coin. And since this is like smart contracts, you can just pay interest to the holders, and then that's basically what HEX is doing. Here, they first have the comp coin, and then they're using other coins and only get interest from the other coins. While it would just be smarter to use the comp coin and make it so people get paid interest in the comp coin, just like HEX is doing. Also, these YouTube influencers are talking, oh, $200 comp coin. That's like it's something magical. It's not really that complex to pump it to that level if you only have 2.5 million coins. It's not really that hard. So that is basically what I wanted to talk a little bit about today. So yeah, I mean, HEX is just so much better. So much better project, so much more transparent. Yeah, so that is that's what I want to talk a little bit about today. Have a great day, DTube.